Everybody, Invisiblekatana here with my review of the Book of Boba Fett, Episode 5, The Return of the Mandalorian. I am high right now. I saw the episode while high, and it was an amazing episode to see while high. I hate to say this. I have a series of tweets, because they did a lot of amazing things in here, like, for BD is in there, the Naboo ship. I could not believe, I was like, there's no way that's really happened. This is like a joke. It's a Phantom Menace joke. And it was like, no, he built it up. He has a muscle car now. And it was just insane. He had the spirit, like the opening scene, and he's walking through like this alien butcher shop and stuff. I was like, this looks really good. It's nice to see like the futuristic Star Wars stuff because it's been a minute, and we've been on Tatooine for a minute. We got some flashbacks, but we've been seeing a lot of tan and brown and dirt and desert. So I was like, oh, this is nice. He's on a Halo ring, which is hilarious. Like, there's no way that wasn't a very clear reference to Halo, because I'm like, maybe they knew this would come out like a little bit after Halo Infinite. I don't know, but I'm like, that's really interesting. They're just like toss a Halo ring in that. Very cool. I thought it looked nice. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like the way the ring is tilted, like you get paths of the sun, or maybe that was just a giant light. I don't know. Either way, goes through, looks amazing. He's got the spear. I thought that looked really cool, and then they melt it, which is sad. But I'm like, I like the look. It's draped over the jetpack and everything. I thought that would be his new look. I thought it was super cool. Melted the spear, but he did it for a very cute reason. So I'm sure, that's a figure. Like, there were like 5 things that showed up in this, and I was like, well, okay, we got new toys of this, we got new toys of that, because that Naboo Starfighter, that's amazing. That like, he got a muscle car. It's ridiculous and amazing. And I was like, why does this work so well? And I guess it's just that side of the 50s was a much cooler reference than the, American Graffiti 50s reference that they did. Not that they had muscle cars really in the 50s, but, classic muscle cars. So I was like, this is interesting. This is very interesting how this episode is going and how many figures are coming up. There's a BD droid, which is one of the greatest things ever. BD is like, as soon as BD1 existed, if you have not played Jedi Fallen Order, you're crazy, you're missing out. It's Star Wars. But that was amazing. The Naboo Starfighter, that's going to be a figure. Much like the Darksaber, I hope that because BD officially is in live action now, they're like, oh, Killzone want this droid. I also want that droid. I was like, man, BD1 is like the coolest thing ever. Why don't we have so many toys of him? They don't even have him like at the Disney parks yet. So hopefully this one episode will make people go, who is BD1? Because so many people missed out on that amazing game. And I cannot wait for the sequel and the other new Star Wars games we have coming out. There are a bunch. So that's really cool. I hope. We'll see what happens, but I'm hyped. We need more good Star Wars games. But whole episode, bunch of cool stuff happening here and there. Costume looked good. The story was great. He got a starfighter. We got to see BD1. He literally was flying around. He got pulled over by the dude from the X-wing from the second episode of season 2. All that stuff, and then this dude's putting stuff together. So it's like, does that mean we're gonna get more X-wing pilots? I know that they were gonna do that Ranger show. Things didn't work out, but they could get somebody else. I would love to see a show about X-wing pilots. Like we were supposed to get that movie. Well, if they just, that could be the Ranger show. Make a new show. I don't think I'd hate it. I'd like to see what the next generation is doing. It might tie in more to Luke, maybe Leia, Han, Chewie. Hope that it would be done right. And I feel like with Dave Filoni it could be. But as of now, we just have the Mandalorian. He's doing a bunch of cool stuff. Whole episode, love the whole thing. I got to the end. Fennec Shand shows up. That's really cool. That's cool. This wasn't a Boba Fett episode. Great episode. Absolutely love it. But my last tweet was like, I love the episode. I got Ric Flair and his woo. Great episode. But they're still dissing Boba Fett, though. Like, the Mandalorian, this was the Mandalorian, 2.5. The season 2.5. This was 100% exactly to say, like, this is where we're going. You guys, Grogu in, Grogu out. He's happening. We got the armor. They folded it up in the little baby Yoda ears. It was very cute. So this was 100% just like, here you go. It's the Mandalorian. Here's where we're going for season 3. But man, it was a good episode. The Darksaber was in it. It's automatically like top tier Star Wars for me personally. So I was just like, okay, this is good. They talk about Bo-Katan and how she got the Darksaber. Like, they basically answered the question that a lot of people knew from Rebels, whereas like Sabine gave her the lightsaber, which, man, she's officially been cast, but I would assume that news is so recent they probably hadn't cast the actress for Sabine when they were like filming this episode. But they knew they were gonna do it either way. They still could have said it, because that's totally in the history books. Like, sure, Bo-Katan got the Darksaber and it was given to her, but nobody's gonna forget the woman who gave the Darksaber away. She was like the first person ever to do that. And it's like, I'm giving the Darksaber away. Like, that's a huge thing. Like, there's no way it's not like Sabine Wren is, like, people know who that is. She's in the history books of Mandalore. Like, 100%. You don't just get it. And it's like, that, who cares who gave it to her? It's like, the former, like, 1 second ruler of Mandalore. That's a big deal. But they didn't reference her. And it's cool. Just saying, it's like 2 syllables. Sabine. We would have been happy. Just saying. That would have been like the cherry on top of the reference cake in this episode. But either way, Sabine showing up, so everything's good. But they reference that. They reference Bo-Katan. We have an actual challenge from the big dude, and they go back and forth with it. It was very cool. They talk a whole lot about, like, the mystical side of Star Wars, where it's like, you're fighting against the Darksaber, that's why it gets heavier. And it's just like, okay, that's interesting. They're starting to go deep, because it's like, oh, live action wise, they definitely haven't gotten into, like, holocrons and, like, actual, like, the physical, more mystical side of things. And it's like, like, there are references here and there, but that's always done in animation. And live action, they haven't touched it too much. And they also reference Legends. I don't know if 100% that was an old story, but it was like, it only exists in Legends. That might be a clear reference. Who knows? But they were talking about some magical stuff, and it's like, that's interesting. So I don't know if they're really going towards it, and we'll start to see pretty much what you always see. Honestly, in the animation, they get, like, super deep with it because it's animation and it kind of fits. So it seems like they're starting to get to that point where they're like, we're ready to do a live action. And I'm curious how that would look. I don't know how, the exact route they would take it, but I mean, we've seen Force Visions at this point. So it could happen. It could work. Who knows? But I thought they set up a lot of cool, interesting things. And it was a great episode going into The Mandalorian. And whatever they're going to do, they showed the Siege of Mandalore, which was insane. Once again, that was one of my crazy tweets. Like, live action Mandalore. Even though it was being completely obliterated, which is very tragic. Still very cool. Still very cool. So I like the way this whole episode was handled. It was amazing. The music, when they tie the songs together, it sounds so good. Like, I hope somebody already has, like, a 1 hour loop of that, because I already like the Boba Fett theme. I like the Mandalorian theme, but not nearly as much as the Boba Fett theme. But mixing those two together, that's a good one. That's a good one. So I love the episode. There's not much to say. Like, honestly, there's not much to really critique. It's just like, this crazy thing happened, that crazy thing happened. They talked a bunch about Mandalore. It was an oddly calm episode. Like, it's weird to say this, but this episode feels calmer than most of the Book of Boba Fett. But I feel like the intensity at the same time, like, it doesn't make sense, but I'm like, this is a much calmer episode, like, tone-wise. But the actual action was fairly intense. Like, it was such an intense thing. It was just like, that's interesting. Like, everything felt kind of slow. Like, I felt like he was walking for a millennia. I'm high, so it felt like forever. I'm like, he's just walking. Like, he's been walking for so long. Like, it just felt like he was walking forever. Like I said, I was high, but I'm just like, he's still walking. This sucks. Like, he has, like, him without a ship was just like, this is the whole show. This is trash. Which I feel like was kind of the point. Like, I feel like that whole episode, the stuff they were doing, like, him leading up to him getting the ship actually was like, yeah, this is boring. It's not, like, cool. There is no intensity. Like, all right, we finished this, hyperspeed. It's just like, oh, he's just walking to get healed. And then he has to, like, he's like, this sucks for him. This sucks. And then he got a really sweet vehicle, which he can't put anybody inside of. We'll see what happens. I think he's out of the bounty hunting business like everybody else. So, we'll see. But all in all, there's not much else to say. The episode's amazing. It's not really a Book of Boba Fett episode. I mean, there's nothing to say. Fennec Shand showed up, and she dropped down from some boxes. Cool. We'll see what happens in the next episode. And then there's only one more after that. And I was like, I love the episode. But Boba Fett only has 2 more episodes. Like, honestly, at this point, the last episode, like, next episode can be like 50 minutes. The last one I feel like needs to be an actual Star Wars movie. Like, I need them to, like, surprise it. Like, we got like 2 more hours actually. I've been waiting for somebody to do that. That feels like a real Marvel/Disney thing in general, to be like, what if we surprise the nerds? But man, 2 more episodes, unless they're really long, I just don't know what to expect. Like, great episode, but it's not a Boba Fett episode, and he's going to war. I'm like, I feel like there need to be, like, literally twice as many episodes. I feel like in 4 episodes, as long as the action is, like, intense, it's battle, pause, plan, it can feel really great. But I just don't know. I don't know what's happening. I hope that the show goes down In a good way, it will because of the Mandalorian, which is just so sad to Boba Fett, the character. He's not even my favorite. I'm just like, I hate when characters get disrespected. Splinter Cell fans, I know there's a remaster coming, but I like Ubisoft be doing you guys dirty. But great episode. I'm just like sad for Boba Fett because I'm like, even if he has an amazing 2 episodes, it has to be so good. I feel to win people back after everything that's happened. And this episode, I think, will help for now. But I think in the long run, people will be like, okay, that was cool, but that was also back then, and then we have nothing else to look at. And it's always going to be, taken out because right now we're watching it as it happens. But in a couple months, it's going to be like, yeah, if we pluck that out, then it's like, it's almost not fair to even count that as a Boba Fett episode. That's how it'll be looked at. And it's like, Boba Fett himself, great flashbacks, but he got like 2 good episodes. So I want this to go well, as everyone does. It's Star Wars. But I am a little worried now. I was like, oh, okay. Would have been cool if Boba Fett got to punch somebody, shoot somebody, use his jetpack after he falls off a ship. I was like, that's great. He fell into space, and then he came back on the jetpack. Why can't Boba Fett do that? Just like, give him something. My God, like, I feel like he's just there, and it just sucks. And like I said, I'm not even like a giant Boba Fett fan, but it's just like I feel the disrespect. I get it. But who knows? We got 2 more episodes. They might just be like, yep, we're going up. I don't know how you really top that because it dives into it's not, for me personally, it's not just the Mandalorian. It's the fact that technically he's tied to all the Bo-Katan stuff. He's tied to like my main interest in the Mandalore stuff, which is like who's leading and what happened with these characters who used to lead, who are still alive and can lead again. And they make some, once again, magical stuff, weird references to like, the only person that could do this, or who's been banished or whatever, who could come back, would have to like go to Mandalore, go to like the sea or what. She said something mystical. And it was like, It seems like it's like a seed in his mind. Like, we're gonna go back to Mandalore. They're putting it there for a reason, and just gonna do some weird mystical stuff and be like #1 mojo with the freaking Darksaber. I'm excited for that. It's gonna be really, really good. But Boba Fett can do something too. So I would like to know your thoughts on this episode of what is really just The Mandalorian season 2.5. But still, we gotta talk about it. So I would love to know your thoughts on this. Are you worried there's only 2 more episodes? Because I just feel like it's war with the Pikes. I mean, even it might be worse because I'm so familiar with the Pikes from pretty much everything. Like, they show up a lot, animation wise at least. And it's like I'm so used to them that I know the threat, and I'm like, I kind of feel like it's worse because even who doesn't know them is like, these guys just don't seem like much of a threat. But then I'm like, I'm like the nerd who's like, but in the book, except this is in the cartoon, it's like, but they're so nice, they're so cool. And then this is like, we've seen them twice. What war? So I hope we get some long episodes. Want to know what you guys think about it, so please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.